Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in clutter? Like you're constantly losing a battle against total chaos? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful framework that's all about helping you reclaim your most valuable resource, your time. This is the Lean system. But first, let's just start with a simple question and be honest with yourself. How much of your day or your week is just gone? Spent just looking for things, searching for that one file, that email, that specific tool you know was around here somewhere. It's maddening, right? You know what? Let's make this feeling real. We're going to do a quick simulation. On the screen is a total jumble of numbers. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find numbers 1 through 49 in order, and you've only got 20 seconds. Ready? Go. Okay, time's up. How'd you do? Did you get to 5? Maybe 10? If you're really lucky, maybe 15. I want you to hold on to that feeling, that frantic searching, that rising frustration, because that is exactly what it feels like to work in a disorganized system. That little game, it wasn't just a game. It perfectly illustrates a problem that so many of us deal with every single day. We are on a constant daily hunt through clutter, and it's both physical and digital. Does this look familiar? I mean, this is what that chaos looks like in the real world, right? You're always searching, you're dealing with forms that are old or have multiple dates on them, you've got redundant information everywhere, post-it notes have basically wallpapered your desk, and because nothing has an established home, you end up with those, infamous hiding places where things just go to disappear forever. So how do we fight back against his mess? Well, the answer isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. And we can do that with a powerful, but honestly a surprisingly simple framework. So let's dive into the Lean philosophy. At its heart, Lean is really built on just two core principles. That's it. The first one is continuous improvement, this idea that we can always get a little bit better every single day. And the second one, which is just as crucial, is respect for people. And this quote from the Shingo model just nails that second principle. See, Lean isn't some mandate that comes down from the top. It's about building a culture where every single person on the team feels empowered and is actually involved in making those daily improvements. Okay, so the philosophy is great, but how do we actually put it into practice? Well, the first tool in our Lean toolkit is designed specifically to conquer that physical chaos we were talking about, and it's called 5S. So what exactly is 5S? The best way to think about it is like a deep clean for your entire workflow. It's a method to create a workspace, and that can be physical or digital, that is so clean, so uncluttered, and so organized that it actually helps you cut down on waste and boost your productivity. It's all about designing an environment where you can focus on the work, not on the hunt. The system is built on 5 pretty simple but really powerful steps. First, you sort. You get rid of everything you don't actually need. Be ruthless. Next, you set an order. Find a logical home for everything that's left. Then, you shine. Clean the area up and make cleaning a regular part of the routine. Fourth, you standardize. Create some clear, simple rules to keep it that way. And finally, and this is the most important one, you sustain. You build a culture to maintain these new standards for the long haul. And check this out. Here's the simple but brilliant logic behind that set in order step. It all just comes down to how often you use something. Stuff you need every day, keep it right there, within arm's reach. Things you only use weekly, they can go in a nearby cabinet or drawer. And those items you only touch once a month, they can be stored further away. It's such a simple idea, but it is incredibly effective at eliminating all that wasted motion. Okay, so once we've cleared away the physical clutter with 5S, something amazing happens. We can start to see the invisible clutter, all the inefficiencies that are hidden inside our processes. And this is where the real power of Lean kicks in. Clearing the space helps you see the process. And now it's time to learn how to spot the 8 hidden wastes. So what do we even mean by waste in the Lean system?
Well, it's any activity that eats up resources, your time, your money, your effort, but creates zero value for the customer. Now, get this. Some studies have shown that in a typical process, up to 90% of activities fall into this category. Now, that's not a typo. 90% of what we do can sometimes be pure waste.
So the real skill here is learning to see this waste in our day-to-day work. And to make it a little easier, there's a handy acronym, downtime. This covers everything from defects that mean you have to do work over again, to all the time spent just waiting for the next step, to the wasted motion of people just walking around unnecessarily. These healthcare examples are perfect, like a missing item on a surgical cart or a poorly designed lab that forces people to walk for miles every day. Let's just zoom in on that motion waste for a second, because it is a perfect example of how these seemingly tiny little things can add up to something huge. One analysis found that a group of employees walked a combined 1.42 miles every single day. And why? Just walking back and forth to a single, poorly placed printer. Now, 1.42 miles a day might not sound like a total disaster, but when you add that up over a full year, that little printer pilgrimage was the equivalent of over 18 full workdays. Let that sink in. 18 days of productivity just gone, completely lost, all because of where a printer was located. That right there is the incredible power of seeing and eliminating waste. So you've used 5S to clear the clutter, and that's helped you start spotting the 8 wastes. But now comes the final and maybe the most important challenge. How do you make it all stick? How do you turn this into a real habit and not just some one-time project? This is where the Huddle Board comes in. It's a really simple, visual tool that becomes the centerpiece for a quick, daily team check-in. You can think of it as the engine that drives that culture of continuous improvement we talked about. And it is absolutely the key to that 5th S, sustain. And this is where that respect for people idea really comes to life. The Daily Huddle is fast, it's focused. The team gathers around the board, they review their key metrics, they talk about what's getting in their way, and they track their improvement ideas. By making improvement a visible, daily team activity, it empowers everybody to chip in, and it ensures that all those positive changes don't just fade away after a week. All right, let's bring this all the way back to where we started. Remember this chaotic mess? Remember that feeling of frustration just trying to find what you needed in a sea of total noise? Okay, now imagine your workspace looked like this. Go ahead, try finding the numbers 1 through 49 now. Yeah, see the difference? Everything has a place. It's clear, it's fast, it's efficient. The frantic search is just over. That feeling of calm, clarity, and control, that is the promise of the lean system. And remember, this isn't just some big theory for giant companies. 5S, spotting waste, these are practical tools you can start using right now in your own work, in your own life. Which brings us to our final question for you. When you look at your daily routines, what's the very first waste you're going to eliminate today?